Hello and welcome to Hashtag Toe to Toe. I'm Andy Scott, and as always, I'm joined by Spencer Fearon.
Hello, mate.
And we're very happy to welcome back the White Rhino, Dave Allen. Dave,
hello, Andy.
Good to see you. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Very good. All good.
We haven't seen you since Lenroy Thomas.
Lenroy Thomas 2.
Lenroy Thomas 2. We didn't get to talk to you on the night because you had a horrific cut. I think people thought that we didn't want to talk to you, but we couldn't because of the board. What was your reaction to that then and the reaction to it now?
At the time, I was just gutted, you know. I felt like I'd beaten a Lenroy Thomas, even more so after the 2 minutes and 18 seconds of action. I could sit here and say, I would have won the fight, I would have done this and that, but we will never know. I'm sat here now, the cut is healing. I'll be fighting early May. Early May, I think there's a show early May. Hey Bellew is happening around that time. If Eddie's
on the 5th,
wants to sort me out, I don't know. But
someone's going to tag Eddie Hearn in this. So would you want Lenroy Thomas in May?
No.
You want to come back against someone and...
I don't want to... Imagine if the eye went again straight away.
Yeah.
I'm not bringing Lenroy over another time. Well, I don't bring him over, so it wouldn't be...
I heard you book his flights. That's what I heard, anyway.
So I'd carry him over. I'd swim him over with him on my back if I could get him back over here. So hopefully... I've had 26 fights, amateur and pro. I think my profile, because of social media and stuff, has got me further than my actual ability at the minute. You know, I'm not very experienced. I could do with some 6 and 8 rounders. I'll settle for just one. If we get Lenroy Thomas over tomorrow, I'll fight him tomorrow. So the answer is, I'm ready to go whenever he's ready to go. However, in an ideal world, I'd like some fights in the meantime.
OK, so that actually links us to our first question that has been sent in by Josh Murphy. Dave, if the third fight with Lenroy Thomas doesn't happen, who would you want to fight next? So this is your opportunity. If you were matching yourself, who would you fight?
I'd get an Eastern European tradesman in.
Oh, yeah?
I'd box a plumber.
OK. I'm sure they can find one.
Maybe some Hungarian journeyman would be lovely next. And then I would like to fight Dorian Darch. And then Lenroy Thomas. You know, if I can get the Eastern European tradesman and Dorian Darch out of the way in a couple of weeks, then I'm ready for Lenroy Thomas when Kell Brook fights at the arena again. Ideally, I would fight Lenroy Thomas at Sheffield Arena when Kell fights again, but I want some fights in the meantime. I'm going to test the eye, get more experience.
Stay busy.
Get better. I've had 4 rounds in 12 months. I don't really want to jump into a 12-rounder, even though I did the other day. I was a bit rusty, that's why I got me with the head, because I've only done 4 rounds. I wasn't really...
Have you ever been cut?
Never been cut in my life. The last thing Mick Marsden...
Of all them rounds of sparring you've done with heavyweights and everything, never...
Never, ever. Mick Marsden said to me, the last thing he always says is... he always says to me, like, on the lead-up to the fight week, who we're going to have in the corner. Because me and Mick are a 2-man band, you know, in terms of in the corner. We just get someone in on the night. He said, well, if you get cut or anything, I always say to Mick, I don't get cut. Good fighters don't get cut. So don't worry about it. And then...
Did you get cut, Spence? Did you get cut?
I never ever got cut. So I displayed that myth. That's a myth, mate, because I was no good as
Good fighters don't get cut,
Exactly.
Mate. Don't worry. Gaza Rich, Dave, he says, I'm sure you've had this one already, but Dave has to explain the trainers in his last fight.
He was trying to copy David Haye versus Derek Chisora. I know what you was trying to do.
But that was because it was raining.
That's a lie. David Haye likes to say that. He said it was actually for comfortability. Seriously. He said he just felt comfortable in his trainers. Did you feel comfortable in those trainers?
For the last, however long I've been boxing now, I train in running shoes. I spar in running shoes. I'm more comfortable in running shoes. Boxing boots, for me, I get an extra inch or 2 in running shoes, and that's very important. We all know how important the inches are in boxing. So that is why.
Okay.
Steady. Spencer, moving on. Steve Parsons, do you think Browne versus Whyte is a 50-50 fight, or do you give one of them the edge? Whyte due to more activity, Browne possibly bigger puncher. How do you see it going?
I don't think it's actually a 50-50 fight. I think it's slightly in the favour of Lucas Browne.
Oh.
I'm saying this, and I love Dillian Whyte, and Dillian Whyte knows that I love him, but I'm just telling you how it is. I would say that it's more in the favour of Browne because of going abroad and fighting abroad. Do you understand? And
fighting Ruslan Chagayev over in Chechnya.
Chagayev, I don't care if Chagayev is 97 years old. As Sugar Ray Leonard said about Roberto Duran, he's still dangerous. This is a very, very well-schooled, accomplished amateur that he went in there, and there were times where he he stuck to a game plan and it worked for him. So I would say that it's in Lucas Browne's favour. Who I think will win the fight, I think it's going to be Dillian Whyte that's going to win the fight, because Dillian Whyte has the better boxing attributes, the more natural boxing attributes. And as long as Dillian Whyte has his boxing head similar to when he boxed you, like he was working on stuff, that's what he's going to have to do. He's going to have to leave ego to one piece and say, like, right, well, I don't need to get into a dogfight with you and like get into a pub rambling with you, because I think he maybe, because of the toughness, then you're giving options for you to get caught with not a lucky shot, but a fortunate shot.
Dave, have you done work with both of them?
No, I've never met Lucas Browne.
Nice guy.
I think he's a nice man. Yeah. He's a strong man, tough man. He's an old man though, isn't he? He's an old man, and he's too old. He's too old. He's too old. His time has been and gone. He's not. The Chagueira fight was 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. Yeah. He's not the same man now. You need to be active in boxing. You know, he's had like 3 rounds in 2.5 years. You can't go into a fight with Dillian Whyte with 3 rounds in 2.5 years. You just can't. Lucas Browne, I seen him the other day. He doesn't look in fantastic shape. He's looking for one shot. I boxed Dillian Whyte and I went in looking for one shot. I don't punch as hard as Lucas Browne, granted, but Dillian Whyte can box. He's people underestimate him. People think, oh, he had 1 good round against Joshua. And when I boxed him, that was true. But now he's beat myself, he's beat Lewison, beat Chisora, he's beat Helenius. There's 4. No, they're not groundbreaking wins, but they're good, solid wins. He's done all the rounds. In all them fights, had 44 rounds now, and that's 44 rounds that he's had since Lucas Browne last had a real fight. So for me, I think Dillian Whyte wins on points. He's not a knockout puncher. I had this argument last night. He's not a knockout puncher. I've boxed him.
He's a stinging puncher. Yeah, I would say that Dillian Whyte is very similar to Larry Holmes. Do you understand? Larry Holmes wasn't a concussive puncher, but Larry Holmes could work behind his jab and they'll be hurtful. They'll grind you down. What are you looking at me that for? I'm saying
interesting comparison. That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm saying the similarity to not the similarity, but I'm saying similar to Larry Holmes for the simple.
They're both boxers.
They're both boxers. They're not concussive.
They're both heavyweights.
Nah, you're a funny guy.
Okay, let's move it on. Thoughts on Joe Joyce versus Derek Chisora if it happens? Derek Chisora obviously fights on the undercard this weekend. Joe Joyce fought last weekend with a 1-round knockout.
Yeah, I saw Derek. I saw David Hay in the paper.
First off, do you think that fight will happen?
No, I don't think it's going to happen, because I'm being real. Derek Chisora does not need a Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce is actually very, very similar to Derek Chisora, but a more polished version. You know what I mean? Because he's a guy that grinds you down. Derek Chisora is not a concussive puncher, but he hit you, you know what time of day it was, right? He's just a very, very strong man. But you have a very, very strong man who's uber fit in Joe Joyce, who has a ridiculous work rate. Back in the late 80s, early 90s, there's a guy called Chris Henry who used to box at Islington Boxing Club. Very, very similar to Joe Joyce. You go ask anybody who knows, like Ed Robinson will tell you, this guy used to just come forward busy. He's exactly the same. He's a nightmare. And plus, he's had the better tutelage as an amateur. Joe Joyce, seriously, this is no disrespect to Derek Chisora. Derek Chisora don't need that fight. Trust me, don't need that fight.
You make some very interesting points about sparring Joe Joyce online. If people haven't followed you on social media, just explain your experiences of sparring Joe Joyce and how he is not maybe aesthetically pleasing, but is so effective.
What I say to people is, if I had never sparred Joe Joyce and I would just watch him on the TV like most have, I would think I'm going to box that big man there because he's slow, limited boxing ability. You spar him, he's so strong. He's really strong. He's the only man that I wouldn't fancy having to roll around with. Do you know what I mean? In the heavyweight division, because he's strong. He's super fit. He's tough. You know. And people say to me, "Why don't you box Joe now? He's only had 3 professional fights. Get in there while you can." And I think he's had 20, 25 WSB fights. These are professional fights. He's an Olympic silver
medalist. Full Usyk in the WSB.
He's the most decorated amateur ever in British amateur boxing history, I believe. You know,
now, one of them. You're listening to the commentary last week, but he's one of them.
Sorry, Spencer.
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm just saying. I'm just letting you know that. Sorry. I think Errol Christie, God rest his soul in paradise, would argue about that. But anyway, it's another thing.
But Joe's got Olympic silver medal and is medalled at all the major tournaments and whatever else. And the WSB, so he's a very experienced man. I think he's ready for Derek Chisora. But there's 2 Derek Chisoras. There's Derek Chisora from the Kaya Bell fight, who was plodding around, and there's one from the Dillian Whyte fight who will give anyone a hard night's work. So the fight won't happen next. Chisora, the money, David Hay keeps saying they're offering Chisora stupid money. No, they're not. They're not offering enough money to fight a free fight novice that would basically end his career at the highest level.
Who do you think would win that fight?
I think Joe Joyce would win that fight.
Last one to you, Dave. If Joshua and Wilder fight this year, who do you favour?
think I've had this discussion with a lot of people. Tyson Fury's you on it, Wilder wins because he can punch and move. Joshua can just punch. And then most people say Joshua will win because you can't lose to a man who only weighs 15 stone 2 pounds. And
That don't
I
mean
don't
nothing.
agree with that because Wilder punches ridiculously hard. He's super fit. And the Ortiz, the round 7 in the Ortiz fight showed that he's got a bit of grit. You know, the Ortiz fight for me was the same as Joshua's fight with Klitschko. He proved he can do a little bit of everything. He can grit it out as well as chinning people. So that fight for me is the one that I am most interested in, even more than the Fury against either of them. Joshua Wilder's a fight I think it needs to happen. I think it needs to happen this year. Because both of them men, as good as they are, they're both susceptible to getting beat by what some would call a lesser name.
Okay, well, thank you for coming in. I can't let everyone go before I say a couple of congratulations. First one is Sky Sports and Sky Sports Box Office won Best Sporting Event at the Royal Television Society Awards last night for their coverage of Anthony Joshua against Vladimir Klitschko. So well done for everybody with that. And also, Dave, it is your birthday today, 26 years old.
Yeah.
And I know you're watching what you eat, but we have actually made you a cake, a White Rhino cake.
Dave.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
There he is.
Get on set,
Ross.
Ross. Get on
some
set.
airtime.
There you go.
Hey,
Look at that.
Hey, what do you think?
That is a very nice cake. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you to
Happy
all
birthday.
involved. Thank you very much.
Very good.
Thank you.
Right.
See you on the podcast.
Right. We're going to share that cake around the office later.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Very nice.
If you want to share, we can share it.
No. Make sure you tune in later on for the full podcast and join us next week.
Sky Sports. Feel it all.